Your thoughts don't just change your mind, they change your field. What you're repeatedly thinking is literally rewiring your nervous system as we speak. So, your brain isn't just a biological computer, it's an energy system that's interacting with the world around you. Your nervous system almost extends like a bulb. Your skull would be the bulb. And so, your nervous system extends beyond that bulb or that skull. And your thoughts, as we're going to see, are electricity, and your emotions are the chemistry. And in the digital age, we often don't think about this. What we're consuming matters more than ever before. We don't value what we put into our nervous system. That is energy. Those are thoughts forms that are coming from others, that are coming into our bulb or skull field, into our energy field, and change our thought waves and our nervous system so that it mimics somebody else's thought field. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you how thoughts shape energy and this reality, and why you should value what you consume more than ever before. And again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps us to reach more people. And if share with somebody that you think may enjoy this video as well. It really helps us to reach more people. Again, I'm Dr. Brian Ramos, Yale-trained neuroscientist, and I am the creator of Zen Brain Academy and the author of two books, Inside Out Calm and The Art of Stress-Free Living. So in today's video, again, I'm going to teach you this concept of the quantum brain. I teach a class, is quantum model to mental health or brain health for like enhancing your brain function that really is in line with the world that we live in now. There is an old universe that most of us are in, which is the Newtonian universe of old physics. In the 1900s, the world shifted into a new physics, and most people are still in the outdated version. So I teach kind of how to kind of level up the circuitry, the code of your brain to access this new quantum state. So let's jump into a little short class here. Remember, thoughts, as I mentioned, are electrical, and the emotions are chemical. This is why your nervous system generates electrochemical signals. They create measurable fields. They create signals. Your brain generates brain waves. But oftentimes, as I've talked about in other videos, including the most previous one to this one, I talk about how we often we have a brain that's very noisy. It's generating a lot of thought signals, but without a lot of coherence. We burn out a lot of precious capital this way. We waste a lot of energy. Every thought is generating this signal, and every emotional state is going to create a biochemical response, whether it's a neurochemical response, a chemical in your brain, or a hormonal response. I'm really angry, and that's generating angry chemistry, so on and so forth. This is how mental states or emotional states can ultimately lead to physical or health outcomes, because we persist in a certain state that yields chemicals that alter my cells over time. Why? Because chemicals bind to proteins on the surface or proteins inside your cell, and it can then alter what you get out of your DNA, out of your DNA code. This is called gene expression. It's something that I teach in Zen Brain Academy in a module for that I call DNA hacking, where it's how do you change what you get out of your DNA. And oftentimes what we get out of our DNA is kind of running on autopilot, is running because we're scattered, we're falling behind, we're feeling stressed, we're angry, we're depressed, whatever it is. Often it's an emotional state, again, the chemistry, that we are not harnessing correctly, and that leads to problems ultimately at a cellular level that will eventually manifest physically into a disease. This is how diseases often exist already at another level that the doctors don't catch before the doctors actually catch it, often or sometimes too late. So this combination of electrochemical responses or signals is going to shape how you perceive, act, and respond. Your thoughts don't just shape your beliefs, it's going to shape everything about you. And remember, in a class that I teach that's called Turning Stress into Flow, where I teach about how to begin to harness this, I teach this little loop of belief and action and results. It's kind of like mechanism, this little loop that feeds on itself, that as my thoughts change, it changes my beliefs and it changes what actions I'm going to take. And then those actions are going to yield results that feed back to my thought field and my belief system, either restricting my beliefs or growing them or giving me more bravery to or resolve to push forward. And so I always say in the digital age again, value what you consume. Look at the suggestions on YouTube, on social media. It is a reflection of what your brain, your thoughts, waves are becoming. Your nervous system is going to shape the tone, the energetic coherence, and how you interact with the world. So value it more than ever before because it is the number one thing that is keeping your body operating optimally, that allows you to be productive, that increases your longevity and your health. No other system is as important as this one. Ultimately, all of them are. If your heart fails, your body doesn't function. But the brain is that pivotal point, that interface between thought and action, between the inner and the outer, the spirit and the physical. So this is not woo-woo science, it's really biology. Your thought patterns are going to alter neurowiring, neuroplasticity. That's very well known. Hormonal signaling, we talked about that. Heart-brain coherence. Oftentimes our heart is in conflict with our brain. We're doing something, but our heart isn't in it. You've heard that term. Oh, my heart isn't in it. If your heart isn't in it, guess what happens? It doesn't really come out right. This actually reminds me of something I read that's something that's more typical, I think, of Asia. India, I've seen this, where masters, there was this yoga master that would not eat food just from anybody. He had like specific people he would want preparing his food. Why? Because these people loved cooking. They put their heart into the cooking. And that created a different level of the quality of that food. It's a problem when you're trying to expand. You sacrifice quality for quantity. And most restaurants, what do they have? People that are just doing it for a paycheck. There is little heart. Maybe there's somebody there that really is unique and they really love whatever they do and they're doing it with a lot of care. And you have their dish and you're like, man, the food just tasted amazing today. Maybe it was prepared by somebody that had that heart-brain coherence. Whenever our heart is synchronous with our brain, it really makes a big difference. When they're not working in opposition of each other, when our thoughts and our emotions are tied together, as well as thought patterns are going to alter stress recovery cycles. I've talked about this in other videos. How do you do this? How do you master these cycles so that you have peak energy, peak productivity, you harness stress chemistry into a flow state more easily, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so your internal state, again, is going to become your external experience. So remember, this is all about neuroplasticity. You're rewiring your brain. You repeat, you strengthen the circuits. Your attention is going to amplify, and your emotions are key here because your emotions dial the amplification up. But if I dial it too much, it's not good. It's that baby bear porridge philosophy that I've talked about in other videos. It has to be just right. And then identity, neural reality. Your brain will recognize, not recognize, but reorganizes based on where your attention goes. And oftentimes we don't have control over our attention. Remember, our energy goes there as well. Where your attention goes is where your energy flows. I think Tony Robbins said that for the first time. So you want to value where you put your attention more than ever before. We're in attention deficit culture because we've trained our brain to switch from one thing to another and to multitask, which destroys the ability of the brain to remain present and focused and in the flow. And through repeated thought patterns, what happens is you become these default pathways. Whatever fires together, wires together, we strengthen it, and that's what our mind will become. But our brain can reshape it and get out of old patterns and into new ones. We can create new habits, new beliefs, and new identities if we start to rewire our brain in new ways. It's going to take effort. And on average, it takes, I believe, around 67 days or so. Study was done. So it's going to take around uh, 2+ months or so for your brain to really kind of get into a new state. It is not for the lazy. It is not for somebody who does things once and thinks they're going to get a result. It requires perseverance, consistency. So coherence will mean that your system is sending one clear signal instead of something noisy with conflict. I've talked about this in other videos. I mentioned in the previous one, the previous to this one, I want you to check it out. Um, and so when do we have conflict? When we don't have clarity, where when you have clarity, you very little effort is required. You don't need to force things. With coherence, you require less effort. Your brain, different brain areas are working synchronously, not in opposition of each other. If I'm working and I'm listening to music, my brain is in opposition. My brain wants to sing the song. My attention keeps getting pulled to the melody, not to the word. So learning how to get into these rounds of deep focus work without distraction, and then you take breaks in between. When you're in alignment, when you're focused, you can have greater influence, you have greater productivity, you consume less energy, you get more done. Quantum systems are more powerful because they are aligned, and this applies to human attention and to our intention. So your brain will work best when it's in coherence. Peak states are going to occur when your brain waves are synchronized, when your nervous system is stabilized, and when you're using your energy expeditiously, efficiently. This is the biology of the flow. In the previous video, video 13, where I talk about the flow state, I go into a bit more detail about that. I'll put the link to the video at the end of this one. Um, Fragmented thoughts are going to equal what? Weak signal. Most people have a weaker brain by choice. If you have unified attention, you have amplified impact. That's how you become much more impactful in life. You have more charisma in life through this same process. Remember, electrical magnetic signals don't stop at the skull. They're going to extend outward. Think of a bulb shining out. And it's going to influence your perception, your emotional state, which then impacts your chemistry, which feeds back to your biology, to your physical state, changing then your belief and your thought patterns. Chaotic thoughts, chaotic signals. This is how, like anger, depression, sustained states that we think of as being negative impact us in negative ways. Stress is going to fragment this field. Clarity is going to organize it. How do I clarify myself? By having the right practices in between those periods of deep focus work. Mindfulness, certain breathing exercises, moving more often, being kind-hearted with yourself, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that we can do to be more calm, to be more focused, to have us different. Also, mindset is important. Having kind of like I call it the Huckleberry Finn philosophy of just getting on the boat and allowing the boat to take you, the river to take you wherever it is, whatever next adventure it's going to take you. The mental and emotional state you live in becomes the signal that you're broadcasting to the world and is going to, in a sense, attract you to things that reinforce it, that keep you in that state. So, attention, remember, is an energetic act. What you consistently focus on will get reinforced. It's going to shape your chemistry. It's going to anchor you in a certain reality. It's going to impact your neuroplasticity for better or worse. And it's going to determine your brain power. You want more power? Value where you're putting your attention. Attention is training, and that training is going to lead through neuroplasticity, through long-term changes that are going to likely either enhance you or break you, depending on what you choose to change within yourself. All right. So value, value, value more than ever before. Here's a 10-minute thought field meditation. I want you to, this is like, I'm going to include in this video a recording. So if you comment on the video below, if you've made it to this point and you want this guided practice, comment on the video below, uh, what you learned about this video, what you got out of it, share it with somebody else, and I will then reach out to you and get you the video. So also include obviously some way to send you the video, an email. All right, so this practice is coherent signaling, both mentally and physically. It will involve slow nasal breathing, neutral awareness. You're not allowing your mind to get pulled one way or another. You're trying to remain steady and calm in one thought or one experience. If your mind gets pulled one way, gently bring it back to the breath as you're breathing slowly. That's the neutral awareness, the breath. It could be your posture. It could be a sound. It could be something in the visual field if you want to have your eyes open. And then try to expand that sensation outward. That's why the guided practice will be useful, because you're going to be able to learn how to do this in 10 minutes or less. And then once you learn it, you can do it yourself. It's training coherence and not visualization. So you train how to be more coherent, more present in the moment. Again, if you want the video, comment below what you enjoyed about the video. Also drop an email. I will then send you the video. It will come from an @zenbrain.academy email. All right. This changes how you live. Coherent thoughts lead to faster recovery, better decision making, emotional steadiness, and sustainable performance. This is nervous system leadership. You lead with a sound nervous system. All right. So in the Zen Brain Academy, I have this quantum mind mastery. I teach a quantum model to mental health or brain health, where we learn how to train our nervous system into coherence, into turning thought into frequency conditioning and into neurochemical mastery. Remember, you don't need to control every thought. You need to train the system, the nervous system, that generates those thoughts. And that's what we do inside Zen Brain Academy. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Please, again, share it with somebody that may like it. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Stay Zen.